Hello, I am Jamie Buckland with the West Virginia Few Families United for Education, and I am so excited to be talking today with Kurtis and Heidi from Great Hearts. I'm excited to share with them my experience with Great Hearts and just introduce our audience to the amazing work that they are doing. So, welcome, Heidi. Welcome, Kurtis. We're going to get started
Hello.
with you, Heidi. If you would just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Great Hearts.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jamie. My name's Heidi, and I started with Great Hearts as a parent. I was looking for a school for my children who were, and we convinced Great Hearts, if you will, to open a school in the West Valley where I lived in Arizona. And so they started the first year that we opened the school as a fourth grader. And then by the next year, I was a teacher. And by the year after that, I was the headmaster. So very quickly moved from teaching, a couple of years of teaching, and then moved into being headmaster. And then when we started this online opportunity, I jumped at the opportunity to join Kurtis and look at making Great Hearts or classical liberal arts education available to as many families as wanted to come.
I love that. Thank you. And thank you so much for being on today. Okay, so Kurtis, we'll go ahead and jump to you. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Great Hearts.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. So I've been in education, K-12, since graduating from college. It's always been in my heart to serve kids and families and communities. And I joined Great Hearts 4 years ago, but have known the organization for many, many years. I've been trying to find the just right place to join. 4 years ago, I joined leading academics across the state of Texas. And when COVID hit, we heard back from a lot of families, both teachers and parents and kids, like, if we could do this right online, this could be really amazing. And so I pitched to our CEO, let's do that, and raise money and found kids and hired an amazing team. Heidi was our first hire. I had gotten to know Heidi the 6 months prior. And so I was like, Heidi, I need you to come with me and launch this new model. And since then, we have been serving kids in Texas, kids in Arizona through Great Hearts Online, over 1,000 students across those two states in private micro schools. And now we're having this conversation here today.
Which kind of transitions us directly into why we're together today, why we're talking about this. So you guys have some really exciting news for those of us who do not take up residence in the wild, wild west of Arizona or in the great state of Texas. So Kurtis, why don't you just go ahead and share with us what Great Hearts is launching today?
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. So today I'm excited to announce the launch of Great Hearts Online National Academy. This is a national, across the country, private online school. This is the Great Hearts curriculum and model and program, which has been time tested over 20 years and serving over 26,000 kids across multiple states, K through 12. And so our private school will launch K through 9 in the coming year in 2 models, and we can talk about that more later. But we want to give families choice and access to the best education that works for them. And by launching this school and working with ESA providers in multiple states, we are striving to democratize access to the best classical liberal arts institution in the United States. So I'm very excited to share that today.
Yeah. And so, Heidi, I would love it if you would share with us just a little bit about that path. And you kind of referenced this in the beginning, but you've kind of been with Great Hearts since Great Hearts came on the scene. So if you could just share with us a little bit about what that has looked like as that first school kind of started, and then just maybe how that has grown to serve families. And actually, if I remember correctly, like bring on homeschooling families into that charter school movement and its origin. If you could share just a little bit about that.
I'm delighted to. My children are juniors in college now, so they went through the entire Great Hearts curriculum. I walked alongside them as both a leader and as a parent, and it's so rich and beautiful. I love the fact that they're engaging in great conversations, that they're reading texts that are just filling their soul and their hearts and their minds with good ideas and big ideas, that it helps them develop in their critical thinking. that they truly can do science and math in tangible and concrete ways, and that they're learning a language and also becoming musicians and artists, right? It's the whole package. And so the question was, could we do this in an online space? And the answer is yes. I mean, we are so delighted. I love to pop into classrooms in an online classroom instead of walking down the hall and checking in my teachers. You get to go into this space and see them engaging in conversation and dialogue about big ideas with their teachers, or challenging each other in the same way that you would see in a brick and mortar. And then you see their work when it comes across on the computer and sort of grading. I was looking at some third grade science earlier today and thinking, oh my goodness, they know how to tell and read a weather map. I'm so impressed. So it's that concrete side of it. In fact, we just had them, our third grade team, put out weather stations. We ship them a station and they get this weather station that they're measuring rainfall. And every Friday they have to check and create their map. So it's the concrete. It's also all the ideological pieces, and it's also having conversation, right? Like engaging in the rich conversation that comes from classical education. So it's taken a lot of time and deliberate planning to sort of, how do we model that? Do we take the best of this, make sure we're not, giving people something less? It's going to be different because it's online, but how do we do this well? And so that's been our work, is in the construction of it. So delighted with what we're seeing across the grades. Also, we just got some testing results back for pre-test, and they look great.
Exciting. Yeah.
So on all the elements that we look for, engagement, academics, performance, happiness, the joy of learning, it seems like we're working towards that being a really highly functional and good space.
Well, I have kind of this unique tie to Great Hearts, because when I first was introduced to the classical tradition, which would have been like, I think 2009, 2010, I began homeschooling in Southern West Virginia, like 2007. And so when I came on the scene, trying to figure out what approach we were going to take with our own family, and we started using the classical model, I was kind of just desperate for information, looking for ways to really engage my kids. And then, because I do kind of have this community organizing spirit about me, it just kind of flowed into the community. And so we started building these programs. And then in 2019, I guess in the late 2018, I had an email that came through about this classical symposium in Phoenix, Arizona, the first year, the inaugural year of the classical symposium. And little Jamie from West Virginia flew out to Phoenix and spent a couple days out there. And I think in the crowd, there were just like maybe under 10 of us who were currently homeschooling. It was really the charter school movement and training teachers. And it was there that I learned about charter schools and their approach. And then I came back to West Virginia, and we were in the heat of growing and expanding school choice in West Virginia. And so it's been very interesting. We kind of compete with Arizona a little bit on this ESA expansion, but it's been very neat to tie that into my personal story. And since then, I've used like Great Hearts, their scope and sequence, to help coach other classical leaders who are looking for, where should our book lists come from? What curriculum is someone else using? So I just want to make sure our audience understands Great Hearts has walked this path before us, and we can trust them as a resource, someone who's actually been there. They're not just talking about doing this. This is an organization that has been doing this work. So Kurtis, we're going to go to you now and talk a little bit about who this National Academy is aiming to serve. So who is the audience going to be for the National Academy?
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm so glad the Great Hearts Institute and Symposium, which is next week also, I'm glad to see you there, was a big part of your journey as well, Jamie. So first answer is, if you are a family looking for access to the largest classical institution in the United States, Great Hearts Online National Academy gives you that access in your home. And that is important, that's meaningful. And we're really excited to be able to provide you that choice and accessibility. I think another piece of this is, if you're a family looking for freedom and flexibility, right? An online school can give you a lot of that freedom and flexibility without sacrificing educational quality. That's a key piece. We talk to a lot of parents, a lot of families, whether they consider themselves homeschool or homeschool light, right? Or whether they consider themselves, really active and they're moving and they have a lot of extracurricular activities. Maybe they're ballet dancers or play sports or are in horseback riding, or maybe their child is, struggling with dyslexia or needs additional support from the family in some different ways, emotionally or socially, needs some additional support. Families are looking for flexible options, but they don't want to give up on quality. And part of what we're providing is a high quality solution to allow families to live their very best life without sacrificing educational quality and without sacrificing educational purpose, right? Our purpose is to cultivate the hearts and minds of kids in pursuit of truth, goodness, beauty. And so that's really transcendent in a lot of the work. Who's this not for? If you need 5 days a week a school to send your kids to because that's part of what your family needs are, this is an online school. We talk about school at home. We talk about pulling parents in as key partners in the work. This is another regular piece of feedback. If you want to be involved in your kids' education and their intellectual and moral development, consider Great Hearts Online National Academy. We will pull you in and work with you because you are the shaper of your children, and we want to support you on that journey.
I love that. And so Heidi, why don't you tell us a little bit, that was like, who do you serve? So how are you going to serve these families with that tradition? We're going to paint a picture here in a moment with Kurtis, but if you can just tell us a little bit about how the tradition, that truth, goodness, and beauty really is a holistic approach to education versus just trying to get some academic subjects in and seat time in.
Yeah, I love that question. We actually, we have two models. We have a live model and a flex model. Our live model is that you come to class 4 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. And the flex model is it's always synchronous. And so in other words, they're not really engaging with a teacher on a daily or even weekly basis. They will check in and have tutoring and those kinds of things. But so it's about engagement in that piece. In terms of following we really are passionate about our mission. We believe that we are in the business of forming whole human beings. And so those things have to work together, right? We believe that as a human, we should engage in all the subjects. And so we do, right? We read great books, we talk about them, and then history goes alongside that, right? And then we do a little art that fits into the picture. And all of those pieces together collectively help us form that big picture. We might be studying courage, and we can see courageous things happening in all the different subjects. They're not unique to just one or the other. And so part of that is that story. And that's why our parents are so important, because we want those conversations around the dinner table to go, did you know? And have those really rich conversations and have the parents in agreement and alignment with what we're doing, what the scholars are engaging in.
It's exciting for me to think about how, I know when I started our program in Southern West Virginia, it was like, well, I would have days in class where I would think about just these families are getting to experience this, but we couldn't take on everybody, so it was limited. It was just these families. But to think about the impact that this could have in sharing truth, goodness, and beauty, and bringing that into all of those homes, it's extremely exciting. So Kurtis, why don't you tell us a little bit more about painting that picture? What will this look like for families on the day-to-day? I know you guys have some upcoming info sessions, but what should families be thinking about in terms of what this would look like for the 23-24 academic year?
Great. So next August 2023, we will launch K through 9. Every year after that, we'll go 10th, 11th, 12th grade. We will definitely be providing college-bearing credit courses. There's a number of important partnerships that we're working on, which are going to keep confidential, but please look for more information in the coming months on that as we build out our high school. As Heidi shared, there's 2 models. And so the day in the life looks very different for those families in different models. In the live model, if your family, if your children are looking for small live classes, 12 kids in a live class. That's a very, very important choice because we believe relationships are central in this work. The relationships between students to students, the relationships between students and their teacher, the relationships between the teacher, the content, and the student, all those pieces are relationships. So K through 2, 12 kids in a live class, 2 hours a day. 3 through 9, I think it's 18 kids in a live class, 4 hours a day. That's part of our live model. If you're a family looking for freedom and flexibility, right? You want to be able to go on Wednesday to the zoo and Thursday to this other place and Tuesday to this other thing. That's awesome. That's why we have our flex model. It's a different model that's built for you. And so we're excited about providing those two models and those two options. We're starting off with info sessions starting on March 1st. Please sign up through our website, www.greatheartsonline.org, to sign up for an exclusive info session with Heidi and other members of the team to learn more.
Yeah, I'm already registered because I've got a rising sixth grader, and so we're looking at all of our options as we grow into the middle school years for her. And I've got a rising first grader. He's my Hope Scholar here in West Virginia, so we're looking forward to that. So we've got our website, we've got some info sessions coming up. We will drop all of that information in the comments. I'm going to sign off here because I'm in the education committee room of the State House here in West Virginia today, and they're actually coming back in. I can hear them coming in. So thank you so much, Heidi, Kurtis, for sharing about the National Academy. For our audience, you're going to have all of those links in the comment. If the few can help in any way, just connect you with the team there at Great Hearts. Do reach out to us. And again, thank you, Kurtis. Heidi, you guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Hope you have a great day at the Capitol.
Yes.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. Bye.